Block 1, MS1, Unit 2. Responsibility of a professional manager. Objectives. A firm is a social institution. Its very existence is dependent upon its harmonious relationship with various segments of the society. This harmonious relationship emanates from the firm's positive responsiveness of the various segments of its closely associated with the task a manager is expected to perform. The process of involving this mutual relationship between firms and various interest groups begin by acknowledging the existence of a responsibilities of a manager. These responsibilities are towards customer, shareholders, employees, suppliers, distributors and retailers, competitors, unions, government and society. 2.1 Responsibility towards customers. The manager must always remember that the customer comes first. The starting point for the business firm is an understanding of the needs of the customer, and the firm's foremost responsibility is towards the customer. A firm's responsibility towards its customer is in terms of ensuring the desired quality of products at a reasonable price is made easily available to the customers. Product quality is of the utmost concern and covers dimension of products design, materials used in productions, safety, purity, hygiene and aesthetic appeal. The quality of species is measured in terms of its purity, fragrance, freshness, cleanliness, and color. In case of a car, the quality refers to its fuel efficiency, maximum speed at which it can run, responsibility, and trouble-free working of the engine, efficiency of its brackets, sturdiness of the body, comfortable sitting space, commodious boot for the keeping luggage, fitted in air conditioner, stereo system, foam seat covers, etc. The list is endless. This is because quality means different things to different people. For a professional racing driver, the car's ability to accelerate the maximum speed in the shortest possible time is probably the most important indicator of quality. In contrast, a man buying a car for his family would give more importance to the factors such as spacious sitting and luggage keeping facility, sturdiness of the body and engine's fuel efficiency, availability of spares and servicing facility, etc. Connotation of quality vary not only from one individual to another but also from society to society. Because of different social culture and economic values, in most European, American, and Japanese cars, features such as safety valves, air conditioner, stereo system, radio, clock, carpeted floors, upholstered seats are standard features. In India, these are considered super luxuries. Here where may think of Maruti which markets two model of its car, ordinary and deluxe with all these additional features. In India, durability is the most important integrity of quality. When we buy consumer durable products such as pressure cooker, sewing machine, bicycle, refrigerator, air conditioner, typewriter or even clothes, furniture, we expect them to last for 10 to 15 years, if not more. The longer the products work or last, the better its quality in our perception. In contrast, people in the developed countries discard even a perfectly functioning product in favor of a new one as soon as it is possible. In attempting to provide the best quality product, the manager must always remember that quality is perceived in relation to the price of a product. Your company may spend a fortune in producing the best quality product, but if it is priced significantly higher than the accepted price, you will not be able to find any buyers for your product. Price is always determined in relation to your cost of production and what the customer think is good value for money. It is the responsibility of a manager to provide the right match between quality and price. This relationship of quality and price is very important. Japan's economic recovery and rise to the position of world's number one position in electronics and automobiles is the result of its winning combination of the best quality which competitors can't match and at price which competitors can't beat. Products manufactured by reputed companies carry stickers saying checked for quality control, tested okay. Over a period of title, the customer starts associating certain level of connotation of quality with particular companies and their brand names. If, however, your products do not enjoy this kind of quality association, you can have the quality ascertained by government bodies such as Indian Standard Institution, which put its ISI mark of approval on your product after testing for adherence to the minimum quality standard. Getting such certifications will go a long way in building the customer's confidence in your products. Having ensured the desired quality of your product and fixed a reasonable price for it, your next responsibility is to ensure that your product is easily and conveniently available to your customers. Unless you happen to the marketing a product in which your company enjoy a monopoly and no substitute is easily available, persistent non-availability of your product will lead your customer to switch over to the best available substitute. As a manager, you are also responsible for ensuring that the dealers or retailers through whom you sell your products provide the correct information about the product to the customers, charge the correct price, sell the correct weight of or amount if your product is so loose, and provide the proper after sales support. A dealer who cheats on any of these accounts is spoiling the image of your product and company, and you should discard such dealers immediately. Often, firms, in their anxiety to make a success of a new product, make very tall claims about the potential benefits of their products. Such a promotional effort may create a short term effect but can never provide a long term stability. In India, there is a tendency on the part of many firms to bolster the image of their products by making claims far from the truth, primarily because many customers are not in the position to challenge such claims either through a voluntary or legal framework. In the absence of pressure from customers, it becomes the responsibility of a manager to promote the products only on the basis of real and not imaginary benefits. Finally, there are always some products or services concept the consumption of which is viewed to the unethical. For instance, the private medical clinic promoting the concept of determining the sex of a fetus, knowing fully well that there is distinct preference of a male child in most families, is certainly promoting an unethical service. Therefore, in terms of responsibility towards customer, the manager of a firm should always aim at marketing the right product and the right price of the right quality. 2.2 Responsibility towards shareholders. except in the case of proprietorship firm where the capital is fully contributed by the proprietor. In all other companies, capital is collected from the variety of sources. The sources may be friends and relatives of owners, financial institutions, and in case of a public limited companies, individual members of a public. All those people who contribute capital to a firm are known as its shareholders. The prime responsibility of a manager is to ensure the security of the shareholders' capital. The manager must ensure that the firm does not become bankrupt or it is faced with a situation where the shareholders' capital is endangered. In other words, the manager must at least ensure the survival of the firm. Having done that, the manager has to ensure that the shareholders are able to earn profit on their capital. Shareholders invest their hard earned savings in your firm with the hope that they will be able to earn more than it if they keep the money in a bank. Money invested by shareholders is representative of a faith they have in your competence and ability a manager to put their money to good use and give them a satisfactory return. The onus is on you to take your firm profitable and provide regular dividends to your shareholders. By virtue of the capital invested in your firm, shareholders are owners of your firm. As a manager, you have to keep them regularly informed about all important decisions, activities, and results. And the balance sheet and the annual general meetings are the usual yearly forums for such information sharing. You have to ensure that the information provided in reports and balance sheets is correct and authentic and does not in any way mislead the shareholders. During the annual general meeting or any other such meeting with shareholders, you must encourage them to ask questions about the working of the firm and also provide ideas of improvement and not threaten or intimidate them in any manner. 2.3 Responsibility towards employees. Your employees are your most important resource. Their hard work, ingenuity, loyalty, and dedications are critical contribution to the success of your firm. In returns, you have to ensure that you are giving them a fair deal in terms of wages and salaries and compliances with the statutory obligations of a provident fund, gratuity, insurance, bonus, etc. The wages and salary which you give must, of course, be in accordance with the minimum level of specified by the government, but they must also be at part with other firms within your industry. Result or productivity linked bonus and incentives are a way to ensure that your employees can share in the growth and prosperity of the firm. Apart from wages, provision of a safe, healthy environment which is conducive to work is your responsibility. There must be proper and adequate facilities such as canteen, bathroom, first aid room, etc. The extent of importance of this facility will vary from one organization to another. In an administrative office with 30 employees, you do not require a full-fledged first aid room. A small first aid box with the minimum accessories will suffice. In contrast, in factory where the incidence of accident is bound to be higher, a proper first aid emergency room with a doctor is an essential requirement. Releasing the importance of a comfortable working environment, many progressive companies have canteens which provide hot, wholesome lunch and subsidized rates. Some companies also provide transportation for employees at their own cost. Instrumentation Limited, Tata Iron and Steel Company and Hindustan Machine Tools have developed beautiful township in Kota, Jamshedpur and Bangalore respectively with the best possible facilities and amenities for the benefits of their employees. Where the companies is situated in a remote undeveloped area, provision of housing and other facilities is necessary to attract and retain the required workforce. But in many other cases, development of such amenities is reflection of the growing realization by companies that employees are not simply another resource for production but the human beings with emotions, desire, aspiration and have a life outside the factory too. Only a happy, satisfied human being can be productive worker. Many firms extend their mantle of responsibility to include the employees' families too. They contribute towards education and marriage of their employees' children. The thoughts of J.R.D. Tata, chairman of Tata Steel, expressed in 1943 in a proposal for a creation of a personal department in the company are noteworthy. What are the main causes of our difficulties with our workmen? In many respects, we have treated our employees emotionally well. Our rates of pay and bonuses, our hours of work and conditions of service, the accommodations, amenities, and medical care we have provided for them and facilities and their families etc exceeded what any other company in India had done for its employees. Normally, therefore, it would be responsible to expect that our employees would be appreciative of the liberal treatment and generous terms of employment they get at Jamshedpur. If instead they are frequently discontented and mistrustful and hostile towards us, I think we must assume that the fault lies with us and not with them. It is therefore up to us to find out where we have been at fault and then formulate the necessary corrective. Speaking about the importance of human level personal contact with employees, JRD Tata laments one of the inherent drawbacks of modern industry with its large and concentrated labor force, it is the difficulty of maintaining personal touch between management and employees. As a result, many petty grievances, negligible individually but substantial in the aggregate, which might have been eliminated by the friendly word or timely action, are allowed to build up a sense of discontent and frustration among the workers. Your responsibility as a manager is also to ensure that all dealings with the employees are fair. Whether it is determining the profit linked bonus that is being calculated for the provident fund of a retired employee, which has to be paid, you must ensure that the employees are not cheated, harassed, or humiliated. The fact that we still have child labor, bounded labor, workers suffering from debilitating disease because of unhealthy, unsafe working environment speaks volume for our collective failure to discharge managerial responsibility towards our employees. 2.4 Responsibility towards suppliers. Responsibility towards your supplier emanates from the fact that their survival and growth, partly or wholly, is dependent upon your survival and growth. Suppliers provide you the raw materials, components, and parts necessary for the production of your products. You are dependent upon the suppliers for regular, timely supplies of the specified quality at the agreed price. The suppliers in turn depend on you for providing correct design specification, adequate time for production, fixation of fair price, and promote and timely payment. This two-way relationship works best when it based on the realization of mutual dependence and one party does not try to pressurize the other for its own benefit. Scott's Limited and Hero Cycles are example for how firms can play a responsible role in nurturing the growth of suppliers. As these firms have grown from success to success, so have their suppliers. A full-fledged bicycle ancillary industry has been established in and around Ludhiana is response to the needs of Hero Cycles and other cycle manufacturers. In some cases, firms may even provide the seed capital and other necessary infrastructure support to an individual to start an ancillary industry. There are numerous examples where these small ancillary industries have grown to be as successful and large as the firm to which they were originally supplying. The manager's responsibility towards suppliers of funds, that is, banks and other financial institutions, is that not only he has to make the interest payment but make the repayment on time as per the agreed repayment schedules. By doing so, the fine is not only helping the bank but also helping itself because the health of the bank will determine the health of the firm and vice versa. An added dimension of responsibility towards the banks is that the manager must provide accurate and complete information about the various facets of its business when applying for financial assistance. This will help the bank in assessing the risk and return potential of your project and determine the amount of loan it can sanction. Advertising agency supply creative inputs used in promoting your company's products. Since their services are not of a very tangible nature, most firms have the tendency to postpone or delay making their payment. As a responsible manager, you must check against this tendency. Advertising agency, after all, run a business like any others and are your suppliers, and payment delays from your end puts undue pressure on them and affect the efficiency of their operation. 2.5 Responsibility towards distributors and retailers. Distributor and retailers are the link between the firm and the actual customers who consume the product. In your capacity as a manager, you have to responsible for ensuring regular supplies to your distributors. Persistent delay in processing and supplying distributor's order can lead to a situation where the distributor eventually loses interest in your product and switches order to a competitor's firm. Timely supplies have their relevance provided they are as per the order specification. Supplying spoons instead of forks simply because forks are out of stock in the factory is not a responsible way to dealing with your distributors. The products that you supply to the distributor must be checked for quality to ensure that second grade of inferior quality goods are not shipped. Outer packaging of the product should protect it from damage in transit, because the dealer will return all spoiled and damaged stock, which will eventually reflect negatively in your profit. A company manufacturing and marketing plastic bottles switches over 5 ply to 7 ply cardboard when it started receiving complaints about the bottles were being dented and crushed out of shape in transit. The company had to absorb the increased cost of heavier cotton, or it was more than compensated by the fact that return of stock sharply declined and distributor has no more cause of complaints. A television marketing company provides service engineers to all its outstation distributors for testing each TV before it's dispatched onwards for sale. This adds an extra cost but ensure that the distributors has retailer receive sets which are trouble free. The distributors and retailers who sell your products are in it for business and they must earn a fair return. Apart from the fixed percentage which you provide to your dealers, target based incentives, commission, and rewards will motivate your dealers to push your products harder. Providing supports to dealers by way of extending credits, sharing promotion cost, after sales service, and help for decorating the showrooms also from part of your responsibility. You must also nurture and maintain cordial relationship with all your dealers. Many companies hold regular dealers meet in an attempt to build a dealer relation for better corporate gains. 2.6, responsibility towards industry and competition. Other firms within the industry are your competitors in the marketplace but are your associates when you have to lobby for a represent and industry and not as individual firms. Most industries have their own associations at the local, regional, national, and international level. The objectives of organizing such bodies are to protect and promote the interest of the industry, seeks concession from government, and represent against any discrimination, and provide the forum for sharing and disseminating information on the latest technological and market trends. As a manager, it is your responsibility to register your firm as a member of your industry association and comply with all its rules and regulations. The information which you provide to your association must be correct so that the association can present a true picture of the industry. If you have developed or learned some improved technology, you may consider sharing it with other fellow firms. All industry associations are voluntary bodies formed with the idea of providing support to individual firms within the industry. The onus of successfully managing the association is all managers of individual firm members. You must be always willing to step forward and take an active responsibility in the association. It may impinge on your already tight schedule, but it is good to remember that the interests of your firm are best served when the interests of the industry as a whole are served. Healthy competition encourages firms to improve their performance and nurtures progress, and it is responsibility of each firm to ensure that the competition it indulges in their fair and ethical. Resorting to unfair practices, Trying to push out other firms on the basis of political influence or financial strength may yield some short term gain but will eventually tarnish the image of the entire industry. All your action must be guided by concern for the stability and prosperity of the industry. 2.7 Responsibility towards union. Your first responsibility towards you employees union is to acknowledge it as friend rather than as a foe of the firm. Most problems with union arises because of the assumption of the managers that unions have no constructive contributions but to make but are interested only in playing a negative role. As a responsible manager, you must understand the appreciate the fact that management and union have a great degree of mutual dependence, and a union cannot further its interest at the cost of the firm's interests and vice versa. Only a relationship based on mutual trust and cooperation will best serve the interest of the firm and the union. Union represents the collective strength of all individual workers. In dealing with the union, the manager must recognize and acknowledge the bargaining power of the union arising out of its collective strength. The union will always bargain with you for the maximum benefits. As a manager, you should not try to block this bargaining process but add it by providing the unions with the correct fact and figures about cost and profits, and thus aim for a realistic, workable agreement which suits both the parties. Besides providing the correct information, you should attempt to involve the union in the process of managing the firms. You can do this by inviting representative of the union to sit on the management board. This is known as participative management. The chairman of Japan's Matsushita Electric Company often makes this little speech to his workers about participative management. Don't think I run this company. Each of you has a part to play in this its management. We need the ideas, skills and knowledge of everyone to make a reservoir of wisdom for more efficient operation, better products and service quality and effective management. We have a good future if we can work that way. The basic requirement of encouraging participative management is the manager's positive attitude and creation of an atmosphere which encourages free and frank exchange of views among employees and management. 2.8 Responsibility towards government. It is wholly the responsibility of a manager to ensure that the constitution and operation of the firm are within the legal framework as specified by the government. This legal framework may vary depending upon the nature of ownership of firm, proprietary, partnership, private limited, joint stock, Indian or foreign, etc. Size of the firm and specific industry within which the firm operates. The government has laid down specific rules, guidelines, and norms which impinge upon the firm right from the stage of its inception. As a responsible manager, you must ensure that your company is operating well within the legal framework and is fulfilling all its company balance sheet to the registrar of a companies or setting up a joint venture in a foreign country. The action must not violate the law and regulations. The second area of discharging your responsibility towards the government is in the matter of paying regularly and fairly all taxes, dues and duties. The recent raids on large institutional groups are an attempt on the part of the government to unearth unpaid taxes and undeclared assets. A manager who acts in a responsible manner will be ensuring that his firm never has to face such situations. The manager must strive to make his firm a model corporation citizen. 2.9 Responsibility towards society. Apart from the specific society segment with whom the firm interacts in the course of conducting its business, the manager also has responsibility towards its subordinates and the people living in the vicinity of his factory of office. Firms behave irresponsibly when they pollute their physical environment by releasing harmful smoke and gas into the atmosphere, discharging toxic effluents into nearby rivers, lakes, or seas, and dumping their waste matter in surrounding lands. All these have detrimental effect on the environment and affect the health of the people by polluting the air they breathe, the water they drink, and the food they eat. The Bhopal tragedy, where poisonous gas leaking from the factory of Union Carbide caused the death of thousands of innocent people, in an example of the extent of damage which can be caused if proper precautions are not taken. The government is only now releasing the irrepressible harm with which firms in pursuit of their business are causing to the environment and the ecological balance. Vast forests have been indiscriminately felled by firms in their narrow, single minded pursuit of profit. This has created an imbalance in the ecology of the area. Floods have become a recurrent feature in area which had never been known to be flood prone. The pattern and extent of rainfall is changing, leading to frequent droughts in widespread areas. Rare species of animals, birds, and plants are become extinct in the wake of the destruction of their natural habitat. People are deprived of their traditional means of livelihood, and the rich culture heritage is destroyed forever. All this does not imply that there should be no factories, industry, or no economical development. Certainly, we need development, economic as well as ecological and environmental. The solution lies in matching economical development with development of the environment. When a firm puts up its factory, it must also install a plan to treating and disposing of its industrial waste. When a timber merchant cuts 15 trees, he must plant at least the many new saplings. Nature's resources are limited. When we consume them faster than they can replenished or provided anew, it is our responsibility to ensure that our children inherit a world which is healthy, green, and safe for all living creatures. It is your responsibility as a manager to make sure that the operations of your firm do not in any way obstruct, disrupt, or destroy physical structures, historical buildings, monuments, the flora and fauna, and animal and human life. Managers have much to learn by emulating the example of Indian Petrochemicals Corporation Limited, a government undertaking which is playing a very positive and active role in fulfilling the society responsibility. Reproduced below is the copy of I1 PCL's advertisement which appeared in the issue of Business India, July 28 to August 10, 1986. The well-wisher. That's IPCL caring for the environment, the economic and people, aiding industrial progress at the same time preserving the ecology and improving aesthetics. Rs 25 crores facility to for round the clock monitoring of the environment and pollution control, a mini forest and an experimental farm using treated wastewater, a living museum for trees, a lake cum bird sanctuary symbolic of our concern for preserving harmony in nature, marble sculptures, murals, and paintings by young artists, and effort at improving artistic all this close vicinity of our manufacturing complex and involvement in modernizing agricultural practices and promoting afforestation programs through the use of plastics in water management, drip irrigation, mulching, nursery bags, and food produce packaging. That's not all. A special concern for small customers, providing direct and indirect employment for 5 lakhs and reaching out to the farthest concern of the country with raw materials for industry at uniform prices, caring for employees and our neighborhood, and invested for 25 crores in safety measures, a modern disaster management plans and a continuous safety audit, a harmonious work environment for employees. The result are evident 17 years of no production loss due to industrial unrest. A true responsible manager are not only takes steps or to prevent or minimize any negative impact of his firm's operations on the society, but also takes the initiative in playing a more positive role towards society. Tata Steel's attempt at educating people about leprosy through advertisement in newspaper and magazines is an example of the useful and constructive role firms can play in creating a more harmonious society. Many companies have founded educational institutions and free medical facilities for the benefits of society at large. Irrespective of the motivation behind such act, the result is a tangible benefits for use by all society members. In times of calamities such as earthquakes and floods, many companies finance teams of doctors and rescue workers for relief work. In our aim towards a peaceful and prosperous society, we need business firms who are willing to step out of the narrow confines of their offices to the large arena of society and take bold, decisive actions to create a better quality of life for all of us. Konosuke Matsushita, the chairman of Matsushita Electric, has very aptly expressed the social responsibilities of the firm in the following words. Their words is, the mission of a manufacturer is to overcome poverty, to relieve society as a whole from the misery of poverty and being its worth. Business and productive are not meant simply to enrich the stops of the factories of the enterprise concerned, but all our society. And society needs the dynamism and vitality of business and industry to generate its wealth. Only under such conditions will business and factories truly prosper. Finally, as a very practical code of conduct to guide our action and behavior as a manager, we would recommend the following points as set forth by Matsushita Way back in 1933. First is spirit of service through industry. Second, spirit of fairness. Third, spirit of harmony and cooperation. Fourth, spirit of striving for progress. Fifth is spirit of courtesy and humility. Sixth, spirit of accord with natural laws. Seventh, spirit of gratitude. 2.10 Summary. You're responsible as a manager arise out the various social interactions in your which your firm is engaged in the pursuit of its business. You may be directly involved in this, as in the case of interactions with employees, shareholders, customers, etc., where the interaction is based on the fair and obvious exchange of money, goods, and services. The interaction can also be indirect, as in case of interaction with society, where both the firms and society impinge upon the affect each other in hundreds of different ways. A firm which wants to maintain a positive image in the society must assume and least social responsibility. Gone are the days when firms confined themselves solely to running their business without the thought for the society in which they existed. Today, every firm, big or small, is expected to make its contribution toward a better life, better quality of life for the entire society. Thank you. Thanks for listening.